Alright, what's up guys, welcome back to another video. So in today's video I'm super excited. If you've never built a PC before, or if you don't know how to, or don't know what the parts to choose or something like that, well, this video is for you. Today I'll go over step by step how to build a PC, and yeah, you'll need all your parts, which includes the motherboard, the GPU if it's a gaming PC, and the power supply, the CPU. If you want to connect by Wi-Fi, you need a Wi-Fi adapter if your motherboard doesn't have one. Your RAM stick, your hard drive or SSD, and also a screwdriver. And also, just a tip for you guys, try not use one of these ones because if this one has static electricity, if you use it to touch one of the stuff, it's going to be kind of detrimental to the system. So put that away and use something like this where there's like a plastic coating on it. And yeah, make sure you guys subscribe and like the video because this video is going to take a long time for me to film. And also, just one more thing, if your thing comes in a box, if your case comes in a box like this, well, it has to come in a box obviously. If you're going to sell the PC, I advise you to keep this case, and along with all this foam here, because it's just a cheap alternative if you don't have your own box. So yeah, anyways, enjoy the video. Alright, so first things first, you need to grab your power supply, and this thing is optional but it's very safe if you do this. So first you just unbox your power supply like you would to any components. Yeah. And then what you want to do right now is to take the PS out of the box and get rid of the foam thing, the bubble wrap, and yeah, just get rid of the bubble wrap. And also just place this fan up, and now grab your cable and keep these screws as well. Also, just, you know, undo this cable real fast. And what you want to do here is to plug it in and turn the power supply to on, which is having this light switch flicked on. What you want to do is to plug this in. Make sure you don't electrify yourself by doing that. And just set it on the ground, touch with your hands on it. Make sure your static electricity is discharged. And yeah, now my hands are discharged. And now we can get back to the build. Alright, so first things first, what you need is a glass or a jug or a container of some sort that doesn't really create as much static electricity. What this is for is if you have loose screws, you can put them in here so they don't roll around and get lost. Now, we will first need your motherboard, your CPU, which I went with the Ryzen 3 3200G, which is a pretty good CPU, I would say. And for the motherboard, I went for the B450 Gaming X. Also, you'll need your RAM sticks. I went for the Clev 8GB, rated at 2666 megahertz. So the way you unbox these ones is just rip it out from the side. And now, yeah. Alright, so you need your memory, as I said, DDR4, and the Ryzen 3. Now, first things first, what you want to do is to open up your motherboard box and basically hold it by the sides, don't touch the bottom. And what you want to do is to place that aside, but don't let it like touch anything that makes static electricity. Also, one tip, don't build on carpet. Like this floor isn't carpet. I don't know what. If you know what that is, chuck that away. Now what you want to do is take all the stuff out of the thing, motherboard box, and especially the IO shield, which is this thing, and we will be installing that into the case in a minute. Now you can take your warranty out, and also this is important, your build guide and a CD. Okay. Now, what you want to do is to close the motherboard box again, set it down, grab your motherboard itself, open it from the box, which it actually has a piece of tape on. And also, you might be wondering why this is in plastic. This is an anti-static bag, which makes sure that it doesn't get static electricity on. Anyways, now what I'm gonna do is just box this thing and pull it out and place it on your motherboard box as a cheap alternative to a place to put your motherboard on that doesn't have a good thing. What is it called? TactiK electricity. Now, if you pull up and there is the CPU here, we will unbox this. Damn, where's my scissors? Alright, so now I got a Snapchat notification. So, first things first, I can take the CPU out. It looks pretty sexy, and yeah, so easy unboxing. Now, this thing is the stock cooler, we'll put that aside. Now this thing is the CPU we're going with. And now what's this? Empty cardboard, great. Leave these two aside. And now be careful with the CPU as, yeah, you know. Now, first things first, you want to look at the motherboard. I know the lighting is pretty bad. You want to find a triangle, and that in my case is right here. So if you look at the CPU, if I focus it, there will be a golden triangle right here. And so what that would do, hold the CPU by its sides and don't touch the bottom. You want to release the lever here. Pay attention, you want to release the lever, match the triangle with the triangle over there, and just let it drop. And now after it's dropped, you want to close the lever, and now CPU is in there. Now what you want to do right now is to take your RAM stick, which I placed right here, and now if you come over here, if you're installing more than one RAM stick, then you need to install it in different RAM slots. Normally companies would make it A1 and B1, and then A2 and B2. But if you don't know what those are, if I can find my manual first, which is right here, you can have a look through it, and it would say in the RAM section. Alright, so now if you're installing one, just install it in any slot, I would say, but I'm pretty sure you can't do that, or you can. So first, I'm going to install it into the second slot here, because that's normally A1, and this RAM stick only fits in one way. So as you can see in the video, this is not the right way, so I flip it around, and I put it into these two slots, and I press down with both of my fingers until you hear a click, and that's when you know the RAM is stuck. So you can just give it a little tug, and that'll be alright. Now the next step requires a freaking screwdriver, and can't find one.
One eternity later.
Alright, so first things first, if you're installing the stock cooler like I am, what you want to do is take it out of the box. And how the hell is this thing stuck? Alright, there you go. What you want to do, take the plastic off, and it's pretty oily for some reason. And now just take the stock cooler out. Make sure you do not touch the bottom, as it already has thermal paste pre-applied. You can chuck that box aside, and if you aren't installing it right away, set it down upside down. Now grab your screwdriver, and if you're installing the stock cooler, you have to remove these two brackets over here with a crisscross pattern, and yeah. Alright, so now place all your screws inside the cup so they won't roll around. Now, as I say again, do not touch the bottom of this thing. Now, if you're installing the stock cooler like I am, make sure that the AMD logo is on the left of the motherboard, so it faces this way. What you want to do, align the holes of the CPU cooler, which I'll take a few seconds to find, and there we go. Grab your crisscross Phillips head screwdriver and just tighten a little bit of each side, but don't fully tighten here, and also go diagonal when you're tightening your things, so your corners of the thing. So just don't make sure you over tighten one side and then the other side you don't even tighten at all, basically. Alright, so now after you secured everything in, just give it a light tug to make sure it's fully seated. Now you see this cable hanging out of this thing. What you want to do is locate the CPU fan header right there. It's like 4 pins, and you should be able to find it because it's literally right on top. What you want to do is to stick this cable inside the fans and make sure you have all your pins in before you apply any pressure to the CPU fan pins. Now once that's in, it's in. Alright, so first things first, you need to grab the IO shield, which I feel like is very plain because it's literally just silver. And what you want to do is to make sure you have the right orientation, which the 6 circles should be at the bottom. Now, now we just need to move on to the case. So first things first, you need to remove both the front and the back panel. And the front, this case I'm using uses these kind of screws. Great, exactly what I said about the cup. Where is my cup? It's right here. Alright, so make sure you have to store them in your cup so they don't get lost. Just like that. That is a very good tip. Now, after you've done the front ones, move to the back and unscrew the back ones. Normally these would be thumb screws, which they are technically, but they aren't exactly the best thumb screws because they're really hard to screw with. Like, it's literally impossible to screw it. So first things first, you do have to loosen it a bit with your screwdriver before you can remove it with your thumb. So yeah, now as you can see there, it's still not good enough, so I still have to use a screwdriver to do this nonsense. So it should be out soon. There you go. Now what you want to do is to remove the back panel of the case, set it aside, and I put my motherboard on this side as well. And also remove the cup out of the way, rotate it around, make sure the front panel doesn't accidentally come off. Just lightly, oh shit, alright, just lightly put it somewhere safe for now. And that was tempered glass. So I basically nearly killed myself there. Now what you want to do here, again I kicked something else, great. Now if you come here, you need to just grab this IO shield, make sure it's oriented correctly, yep, and then just install it at the back. Now there's like a lot of fan cables, so I may want to just untie these first, reroute it back, and yeah, because this thing is just annoying. Now same thing again, you want to install the IO shield, but only, what is it called, apply pressure from the corners, never apply pressure from the middle because it might crack. Now I just have to remove these cables and I'll install them myself. Now what you want to do right now, okay, now what you want to do is to find the box or bag of screws and stuff so you can actually install stuff. So that is right here. Now I can put it on the ground for now. Now what I want you to do is to lay this down like this, and I'll have to face to myself. Now what you want to do here is to look on your motherboard to see how many holes it has, to see how much standoffs you need. So let's So mine here has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that should be good enough because my case already has a lot installed. Now, just get your cables out of the way if they already have some. Hold the thing from the side. Now what you want to do is just set this down because there's like a bunch of cables there. That is super annoying. So yeah, now what you want to do is to fit this with the IO shield. So make sure you actually push it in and make sure you have all the screws aligned ready for you to install it. So mine doesn't need that many, so I miscounted just then. Should be good. And now what you want to do, you have your box of screws here and just remove that. They gave you a lot of zip ties, nice. And also a bunch of connectors and these screws here. Now with this screw, this one's an E80X board, which means it's a super big one. Now if I just do this, where's my glass? It's right here, and I'll have to take all my things out just for now. And what you want to do is to just do that. Now you have to look for these kind of screws to screw in your motherboard. Alright, so now what you need to do is install the power supply after you install the motherboard in. So normally cases allow you to install it at the back like this. So first things first, all I'm just going to do is put the power supply in and then drag it until I would say it's a good fit. Now these 4 screws either come with your motherboard or your PSU, which is your power supply unit, or both. So what you want to do is come right here and organize the cables a bit, obviously, like put them up. Now what you want to do is to align these holes on the PSU and install them one by one, and there should be 4 of them, but if there's more you're going to install more. And yeah, self-explanatory. That should be good if you just install all these screws in one by one. And yeah, alright, so first things first, after your motherboard's finished installing, you can grab your hard drive or your SSD. This portion will be SSD for now. So yeah, what you want to do is first grab these cables, all of these cables out of the way. Now what you want to do is locate the hard drive cage, which in my case is right here. So all I got to do is remove finally a good thumb screw this time, and now just pull out your thing. Now when you put this in, you can, I don't think this cage stretches, but what you want to do is install this by the 4 holes. This one only has, yeah, this one has 4. So what you want to do is install it by the 4 holes, and this thing is really poorly made, I can tell. Now you can just grab, where the hell did I put my screws? So you're going to use the same screws as your motherboard, which are these screws right here, if it focuses. So yeah, those kind of crisscross screws you'll be using for the thing. So what I want you to do now, grab your, put this glass on the ground just in case it breaks, and just screw all of them in. Alright, so after you have your hard drive installed on the cage, you first need to know what cables you'll need for the installation. So first you'll need this the SATA power cable, which comes from your power supply. There usually should be a few like this that you need to plug in to the big port on the, that's a Molex connector. You need to connect to the big port on the hard drive. And the other one, which should be included in your motherboard box, give me one sec. Right, so now I have both my SATA power cable and also the SATA data cable, which is a bit smaller and looks like this. You can either have the 90-degree version or the flathead. I'll just go with the flathead for today. So yeah, now what you want to do is to basically install both of your cables in, make sure they click, and if they don't click, actually they might not click actually. So just plug it in and you shouldn't be able to tug it out, so that's good. Now what you want to do is to slide your hard drive cage back in, grab that thumb screw again, and screw it back in with your thumb or a screwdriver, whatever you want, and it should be done. Alright, so first things first, you need to grab the 24 pin cable, alright, and loop it in here and make sure you plug it into the 24 pin socket on the motherboard. So this may take a few tries if you aren't correct with it. Actually, I don't know what direction this is facing, so probably this side, yeah. So just plug it in, make sure it's fully seated, or else I mean the board wouldn't even turn on. Now the second cable, which would be, let me have a look, would be the USB 3 cable. If you have a USB 3 port, which is right here on the case, what you want to do is now route it over here, back on the board, and it would be labeled as the USB 3 header somewhere down here, and it will be here. Or else in other ways it will be labeled something else, but right now what the best way to route it, I would say, is to route it from the bottom, and then make sure you got this correct, this thing here, make sure that's the hole there. Now what you want to do is to plug it in very straight, so you don't bend any cables. And now after it's in, which I feel like it is, you can not worry about that now. Now another thing what you want to do is the SATA cable, which is coming from your power supply, I mean not your power supply, your hard drive or your SSD. So what you want to do is plug it into one of these SATA cables. They'll be labeled either on the manual or even on the case, or even on the motherboard, like so. Now it can be installed in any of them, but if you install an M.2 SSD, which I didn't, one or two of the SATA ports would be disabled, so you have to check. But since I didn't install any M.2 SSD, I can just plug it in any one I want. So I just plugged it in that, and that would be good. Alright, so this cable is a HD audio, and this one is the USB port that we will be powering the case with. Like the USB, which is this one, will be powering these two, and the HD audio will be powering the audio ones. So now if I reroute them back here, it's either going to be on the right or on the very bottom. Normally it's on the very bottom. So you will be looking for something called the USB if you're in Australia, or the F USB one or the J USB one. So what you want to do now is to route them down here, I would say, because it looks better. Now you want to take this one is the USB cable, so again you want to plug it in to the USB port. That's the wrong way around, I'm pretty sure. So you want to plug it in to the USB port. No, that was the right way around. You just have to plug it in this way around. You just have to push it in, if you get what I mean. Now after that's done, grab the audio cable here, and now you want to stick it into the audio HD audio one, which would be right here, and it's the upside down again. So again, push it right in, and then it should be done just like that. Alright, so anyways, now we are ready to give power to the CPU. So choose one of this. I would choose the longer one because it makes cable management look better. You want to combine the 3+2 pin, and then you want to loop it in here, and you see this thing, this 4 cables, right, 4 pin slot right there. Just combine these two and then plug it in to the port. Alright, so now what you want to do is to grab the this cable here that powers your lighting, and also a SATA cable, so you can and then you just wait, whoops, the wrong way around. Just plug them in. It only fits one way. If it doesn't fit that one way, then it doesn't belong there. So yeah, now I think I can just store these cables down here, and that should be good. Alright, so now these switches are too hard to explain on camera, so I'll include a diagram right now. But the first, the top ones are the LED plus, which is on the left, and the LED minus, which is on the right a bit. Now this one would be the power cable, the power switch. Under it would be a reset switch, but since my cable, I can't find it, I won't be including it. And also that one would be the HDD LED. Make sure the text faces down, and that should be good. Alright, so now you probably finished everything. Also connect the rear header, rear fan to this system fan header 2 or something like that. Now what you want to do is to install the GPU. I went for the RX, the Radeon, AMD Radeon RX 570 because it's a very good card, and I would say the 570 is even better than the 1650 by NVIDIA. So first, obviously, you take the GPU out, put it in it, don't take it out of its anti-static mat, throw that aside, and here's your quick start guide, blah blah blah. Now drop this on the ground, and now you can unbox the almighty GPU, the MVP of this whole build. And voila. Oh yeah, wait. I forgot. You need to use this as a anti-static workplace for your GPU. So again, place that on there. First things first, what you want to do is remove this cover right here, and also remove all these right here. Now what you want to do is to pop open one of this, it's usually the second one or the first one, but I mean, first things first, I need a screwdriver. It's right here. So if you come over here, all you want to do is to unscrew the PCI bracket. That's all the protective bracket that only has one screw. Now what you want to do is just snap the PCI things, which I really feel it's weird because how do you snap this? Give me one sec. Alright, so now after you remove the PCI slots, these things right here, after you snap them off, you can just put them off to a side. Now what you want to do is grab your GPU, turn it upside down, and then just put it in there, and that should be good. Okay, so now after you seated it in, what you want to do is, wait, is this even open? Yeah, that's open. Now what you want to do is to push it in until you hear that click. Now what you want to do now is to grab the same screw that you used for your CPU, not your CPU, that you used for your motherboard, and you want to just lift this up, lift the GPU up a bit, and then screw it in. But it's, yeah. Alright, so now if you're installing a Wi-Fi card like me, or a module, just do the same thing like the GPU. Again, just put it in to the slot. Just press it in, and it should be alright. Now, grab your glass again, which miraculously I didn't break in this build. Just grab the same pin, grab the same screw that you used for the motherboard, and again use this and just screw it in. Well, you don't really have to screw it in because, I mean, look at this configuration. You don't need to, but just, I don't know why, I'm gonna screw mine in. So yeah. Alright, so now we're ready to give power to the GPU. So what you want to do is to grab the 4-pin or the 8-pin or whatever, how much you need, and just literally, it's as simple as plugging them in the right way. The right way, alright? And I'm saying that to myself, not you guys. So yeah. Alright, so now what you want to do is just screw in your antenna and should be good. Now you can just pack up. Now I'm going to give you a tip. To do cable management, obviously you're going to need a bunch of zip ties. So if you come back here, yeah, I'm not proud of that. So it just looks like a bird nest. So what I normally like to do is I take a zip tie, draw it into a hole, pull it back, and push all the cables a bit more in, and then just zip tie the cables to the case, if you get what I mean. That should be ready. There you go. That's a good one zip tie there. Now after you've done that, you can pull the cables a bit back now and just do something like that. Now with all of this down here, I would just take out the secondary hard drive cage. Like if you were me, I would just take this hard drive cage out and just use it as a place to store all your cables in that you don't need. Like, bro, there's so many cables that I don't need. You can just store them into those, but I mean, if those don't work, you can also have the alternative. Pull that on the side and just wash everything in. That would be good. Now, grab another zip tie, push these all together, and I would say to zip tie them together. That would be good, because then you also need to do cable management by the end of the day. And yeah, that would be what I would say decent, but I don't really have time for that now, so let's just get on with installing the back panel back on, which I hope isn't that hard. And it was a success. Now I can just screw in the so-called thumb screws, which I would need a screwdriver to do. And yeah, just do some handiwork. Yeet, that one went in. And now the bottom one, which I'm not even screwing. There we go. Now the bottom one. Done. Now, what you want to do now is to take the front panel, which again I'm very scared of because it's glass, and I do not want to be reminded of what happened earlier today. Just lightly. Oh shit. Now what you want to do is to just slot it in. Be very careful, well, if it's tempered glass, but anyways, you should be careful every time. Now just grab the screws in from the front of the case and screw the case in. If I can do this properly. Yeah. And also you've got to remove the caution glass sticker, which I hope I can rip it off easily, because I've done builds before that when I rip the sticker off, you probably know what I'm talking about. There's just excess sticker on it. So let's pray that the sticker will come off easily. And yes, we're done. Now, the best part is losing some very nice stickers that I did not miss. Alright, so you can now grab your AMD Ryzen 3 or your CPU, GPU stickers. Now you can just stick them wherever you like. I like to stick them on the front of the case, like right over here, because it looks good. And also it is AMD Radeon graphics, so I can just put this sticker right next to that. There you go. Now, here's that's heavy. Here's the moment of truth, if this thing even boots. Now, just plug in your 3-pin thing, yeah? And also grab your monitor you can set that aside. Actually, probably best set this aside, set that there. And I have a really bad monitor, so please don't judge. Alright, so now I'm using a really old monitor. So first things first, always connect, if you have a GPU, always connect your HDMI, and I have to stress this, HDMI, not DisplayPort, to your graphics card. And wait, everything's DP. Alright, there we go, this one's HDMI. So after I plug that HDMI in, I can install this side, which is a freaking VGA, and I need to get a better monitor for testing purposes. I can plug that into right there. Screw these two cables in, and I forgot the monitor. Cable. I have to go grab that. Alright, so you need an empty flash drive, about 8 gigabytes, and you need to go to at least 8 gigabytes is what I mean. You got to go to Microsoft website and press the download tool now. Alright, now you've got the Windows 10 installed on this USB drive. Here's the moment of truth. First things first, you just plug it into your USB port just like normal, and yeah. Alright, so now, moment of truth, I press this button. Come on. Bro, it's literally silent. And why aren't these fans like spinning? I'll solve that issue now, in a few seconds actually. Just gotta wait for my system to post, which should be soon. Alrighty guys, so now what you want to do after you boot it up with your USB drive in, it should already come here. Now just select your stuff, Now you press next, and you just press install now. Now if you have multiple drives or something, in the next step I'll show you how to configure your drives. Now, first things first, you need to activate your Windows, which you'll need a product key for. If you don't have a product key, self-explanatory, you can just press the I don't have a product key. Right now, you can just press the, I set the license term, press next, and if you, now just press custom actually. Now you'll see drive 0 unallocated space, total size, that is basically my 1 terabyte drive, and you just press next. Now it should just install, if I'm right. It's going to install now, so you can just come back later. Right, so now after your system has booted and into this screen, what you want to do is select your region, which is Australia for me, and it will just load. Now just press yes and just skip the layout if you don't need another one. And now you just need to connect to the network. Since I have a Wi-Fi card installed, I can connect straight to the network, and I will enter in my password. Now just press yes, and it will connect. Obviously, if you have never connected Wi-Fi before, this is how you do it. So yeah, there you go. Now you press next. And yeah. Now I have some important setup to do, but just look at this beast. It looks so good, doesn't it? Especially freaking, I don't know, the Ryzen RX 570 GPU is so good. Now just wait for it. I'll teach you how to download the drivers and the, so now once you're in this thing, your computer, what you've got to do is load up your motherboard's website and go to the product page. Now what you want to do is click the support tab and also the download section. Now mine would be a Windows 10 64-bit, and go to the chipset. You need, these are the 3 drivers you need, is the chipset download, so you can just download that, just save, and also the LAN, which should be by Realtek, and there you go, and also the audio, which would be also by Realtek. Nice. So just save both of these and go to AMD. Okay, so once you're in here, what you want to do is press the big download now button and just press save. Now that would be good. Alright, so now I'm going to teach you how to install the drivers. So first things first, just click into the setup, and then If you need to extract, then you extract, but if you don't need to extract, then should be fine. Now you can just go through the setup and you will have your drivers finished. Alright, so now for the AMD, just double click Radeon and press yes. Just install the Radeon software Adrenaline 2020 edition, and it should load up. Alright, so now you can just press install, and then yeah, once that's running, you can also install your LAN drivers and just look for the word setup and just run setup, because that's the one that usually is, or that is the one that normally is the one to install the drivers with. So basically same thing, Realtek Ethernet controller driver installed, install shield wizard. So yeah, now just press next, spam next, and that popped in the way. So now the new driver versions will be installing the drivers, and there you go, that's finished. Now once everything is finished, I will go and I'll tell you how to enable XMP on your RAM, so you guys can get the best performance that you paid for on the RAM stick. Right, now all of my drivers are installed. I can shut the PC down now and boot into BIOS, and I will teach you how to do that right away. Right, so what you want to do is boot and then immediately just spam the delete key, and that should bring you up to BIOS. There you go. BIOS has been reset. Please configure. Nice. Now what you want to do is to go into your advanced memory settings, and someone's here. And now what you want to do is, you see this is on 2667. XMP, what you want to do is enable XMP and just go into profile 1, and it should be good, and when you go, and yeah, it's on. Now your PC will be having the best performance out of your RAM as possible, and now you can save and exit, and that is the PC build guide, guys. Alright guys, now I'm selfie filming now. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. This build actually took me a long time to build, well actually just a few hours to be honest. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe, drop a big like please, and also do a comment on if you're going to do it or not, and yeah, and if it helped you, blah blah blah. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.